Hi, welcome to Yash's podcast. I'm your host, Yash. How is it going? And in this episode, we're going to be talking about dating apps. Oh, hi. I was wondering if we could go on like a date today. Oh, how old are you? 15. I'm sorry, I can't really go on a date. Why? Because I'm 22 years old and you're only 15. Okay. And let's begin. Oh, hi, welcome back. We're back once again. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about like the relationships and the age gaps. So, number 1, understanding age gaps in relationships. What is considered a significant age gap for teens? Why do age differences matter in relationships, especially during teenage years? Number 2, legal aspects and consent. Understanding the age of consent law in different states and countries. The legal risks of relationships where one person is over 18 and one is underage. 3, red flags in older partners. When an older person might be taking advantage of a younger teen, significant signs of grooming and manipulation like excessive flattery, gift giving, secrecy, or pushing boundaries. 4, online safety and age gaps. Why older people reaching out to teens online can be a major red flag. How to spot catfishing, predatory behavior, and ways to stay safe on social media.
Wow, that's a lot. So where do you want to start?
So we're basically so the reason why I came up with this topic, it's because I've heard that because I've heard someone who said that their mom had them when they were 16 and their dad had them when they were 22.
Wow, is that what you saw on Reddit?
Yes.
So if you said mom was pregnant at 15?
Yes.
And dad was 22?
Yeah. When she was this one person said that her dad was 22, almost 23 when he had her, and her mom was only 16 when she had her.
So that means, did the mom get pregnant at 16 or did the mom get pregnant at 15?
15.
And what state was it?
The state was in North Carolina.
And North Carolina has an age of you have to be 16 for consent.
Yes.
So, did he break the law?
I don't know if they probably might have broken the law.
Well, the guy who's 22 broke the law because he's the one that had an underage relationship, right?
Yes.
So tell me, Yash, why do you think older people reach out to teens anyway? Like, what? Why do they do that?
Why would a 23-year-old hang out with a 16-year-old and date them?
I don't know, honey. I don't know.
Why would someone out of college that have graduated after 4 years of college are dating a high schooler?
I don't know, because when I was a high school senior, I wouldn't go out with a high school sophomore because they were too young.
Yeah, because when you're even seniors shouldn't date freshmen because seniors are already most likely sexually mature.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think that means you're finished with puberty. I'll search it up.
Yeah. I also wonder, do you ever think about what do they have in common to talk about?
Like, sexually mature means an organism has reached the stage in its life cycle where it is capable of reproducing.
Okay, so by the end of high school, kids are able to reproduce.
Yeah, most people finish puberty at like 17.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Okay, so what's finished if your brain doesn't stop growing until you're like 25? Because, emotional maturity.
No. You're finished with puberty. You're definitely finished with puberty at like 20, but your brain is still developing in your early 20s.
Do you think people should date people whose brains are not developed if their brain is developed? Like if someone's 26 and their brain is developed, should they date someone 21 whose brain is not developed?
I think it'd be fine.
Because they're both adults?
Let's see if 21 dating 27 is good. It says as long as it's legal and it's fine if you like each other, then the age gap isn't a big deal.
Okay. I know that there's some adults and some people, once you get out of high school, you may decide, or even now, you may decide you wouldn't date someone who was in ninth grade.
But I mean, a 20-year-old should not date a 29-year-old. Like, you're comparing a college kid 2 years out of high school to someone who's already about to be 30 and at like the primary age to have kids.
Right, but what about 39 and 30?
I think that'd be a decent age gap.
It's still 9 years.
Still 9 years.
Yeah. Are you saying it's okay once the people are developed into full adults? So at any age, a full adult can date a full adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a full adult should never date a child or anyone under 18.
Yeah, I guess under 16. Because, I mean, yeah, but even I don't think a 28-year-old would date an 18-year-old because an 18-year-old is only fresh out of high school.
I agree, but people do all kinds of things, and at 18, someone is legal.
Yes.
In all states, you're 18, you are a legal adult. So
yes.
If you date someone who's 28, you can.
You can.
But why would you want to?
But why would you want to? I don't know if that's even how many people do that.
Well, I think it makes a difference with education. Like, if I'm 50, I'm not going to date someone 20.
Yes.
Why would I do that? That just seems... I wouldn't do it, but some people do.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Or like 13 dating 17. For some reason, in my opinion, it seems a bit more inappropriate than 17 dating 21.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, a 13-year-old is still... 13-year-olds are still, like, in the early stages of puberty, have only barely started, and 17-year-olds are already sexually mature. And I think that's inappropriate for 13 to date 17.
I think so, too. So what's appropriate with a 17-year-old? Is 16, 17 okay?
I think that's good.
I think that's good. How about 17, 15?
That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, but I would stop it under that.
Yeah.
Because then what happens if you date someone and you're 17 and they're 15 and then you turn 18 and they're only... Oh, but a 16 is the age of consent.
Oh, yeah.
So you're fine.
Then you're fine, I guess.
Yeah. So why else does this topic interest you?
Because I was talking about people who were given birth to teenagers, which means their parents had them when they were teenagers. And there were actually some, like Justin Bieber, which I've heard that his mom had him at 17.
Really? Sometimes they call them May-December relationships. Do you know why?
What?
They call them May-December relationships.
Oh, wow.
You know why? Because May is in the spring, right?
Yeah.
So that means they think of May as like younger. And then December is the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So they say December because it's late in the year. It's like the old person is December, the young person is May. May-December relationships.
Yeah, May and December?
Mm-hmm. That means a young and an old relationship. It's a turn of phrase.
Like, what does that mean?
It means, so if they say, oh, they're having a May and December relationship, it means that somebody is old. They're born like a December. So they're the last month, right? Which is the very end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's the old person. And the young person is referred to as being the May, the baby, the young one. So May and December. May is spring and flowers and youth and growing. In December, everything is cold and dying.
So December is basically like the old one?
Yes, December is the old one. It says May-December relationship is a significant age gap, often 10 plus years apart.
Another example is someone who was given birth where basically her dad had her when he was 60.
What do you think of that?
That's so old.
But is age something that is real?
Oh, yeah?
Like, once you're an adult, once your mind is fully developed, does age matter?
What's your mind? No, not really.
Okay. Because once you're 26, 27 and your mind is developed...
Yeah.
I mean, why can't a 60-year-old... Well, I mean, you could date someone 60 at 27. The question is, why? But everybody does different things. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Did you know there were 8 billion people on the planet?
Yes, I know that.
That's a lot of people. And it's a lot of people who are probably not following the rules.
Yeah.
Do you think that younger people sometimes date older people so they can have more money?
Sometimes, I don't know. But, like, yeah, I've heard of this.
It says here that sometimes it's for financial or lifestyle reasons because it's romanticized in the media. Like in movies and TV, they often show these relationships as passionate and exciting, but they rarely highlight the risks. Let's see. Some teens do it because they have a difficult home life, and an older partner may seem like the way out. Maybe you can check the age of consent laws in the tri-state and let people know so they can stay safe. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure we put in the show notes some information for people if they want some extra help and information.
So in New Jersey, the age of consent is 16, which means individuals under 16 are legally incapable of consenting to sexual activity. However, there are exceptions, including the Romeo and Juliet law, which allows for
what's that?
consensual sex between teens with a small age gap, less than 4 years, if neither is under 13.
Huh. Romeo and Juliet. Oh, I've never heard of those. Romeo and Juliet laws. Did you know that when an older person, if they get legal consequences such as jail time and being labeled as a sex offender, and once you're labeled as a sex offender, you're always a sex offender.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to go to your neighbor's house and let them know that you did this, even if it was 30 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Even if a relationship is consensual, the law often protects minors from older individuals who could exploit them. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think we have to protect children more in this country. And children, meaning, do you consider teens children?
Teens, it really depends on their development. 13-year-olds, kinda, yeah. Because, 13-year-olds, kinda, yeah, for some people, because some still have squeaky voices, no facial hair, and look very short. But I can kind of understand not considering 17-year-olds to be children, because, at that age, you're clearly removed from your childhood interests. You can drive, work part-time jobs.
And you can make adult choices about your sexuality.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that. So I think 13, 14, 15, I still think of them as children.
There are people out there that don't consider your teen years, even 12, to be a part of their childhood. People use childhood at different ranges. In terms of legally, it's 0 to 17, of course, but in terms of mentally, most people on these subreddits usually do 3 to 12, ages 3 to 12 as childhood.
That's it?
Yeah, because they don't count your baby years. Because
So
what
it's
do you
an
remember?
infant.
What do you remember?
Because
there's nothing you
remember
remember
stuff from their baby.
Because there's nothing you can remember. So of course it's not your childhood; it's your infancy.
Okay.
They start childhood at 3 because you enter preschool, and they enter childhood, and then they usually extended up to 11. There are people out there that don't consider the age of 12 to be a part of their childhood. That's because the reason why they do, it's because they're in middle school and that's really the reason why they don't.
So if they're 12 in 5th grade,
yeah,
it's a problem.
Yeah,
right?
It's a problem. They got held back.
I didn't want to say it, but they might have. So that's another question. What if somebody gets left back and they end up being 16 as a freshman?
Yeah.
And they want to date someone who's also a freshman, but that freshman is 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Not really.
Not really. Not really. How far would you go up or lower if you were dating? I can tell you for me, when I was younger, I had a boyfriend who was 23 when I was 17.
Oh.
I know. Don't tell.
Oh.
No, my mom knew, but it was legal, right?
Yeah, it's legal.
But in looking back on it, I wouldn't want my son to date someone who was that much older than him,
Mm-hmm.
but I did it.
Yeah.
Because kids do stuff. Kids do stuff. So how about for you? How low would you go as far as date? And how high would you go as a 17-year-old?
Probably like 16 to 19, I guess.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair. If your parents approve. Wait, do they have to approve?
I don't know, maybe.
No. I think if you're 16, you're 17, so they don't have to approve.
Yeah.
You have consensual, what is it called? What is it called?
Consent?
Yes. So, yes, you're the age of consent.
Yes.
But 2 years ago, because your brother is 2 years younger than you,
Yeah.
he would not be the age of consent.
Yes.
Yes. Just like you can drive a car and get a permit, and he cannot because you're older than him. So,
yeah.
All right. How do you like this topic?
I'm kind of like this topic. And it was also cool because I was very interested in like the development stages on what people consider to be their childhood and adolescence.
Yeah.
Because I've seen I've even seen people who say 12-year-olds are way more similar to teens than children.
Yes.
Which I can kind of get. It depends on the person.
So is adolescence up until 12, like 3 to 12? Or is
No.
it...
They separate adolescence from childhood.
Oh.
Like I've heard WHO uses a 10 to 19 range. Some use a 13 to 17 range or the 13 to 19 teenager range.
Oh. Okay, ChatGPT says, according to the World Health Organization, early adolescence is 10 to 13, rapid physical changes, puberty, emotional sensitivity, and beginning independence. Middle adolescence, 14 to 17 years old, increased focus on identity, peer influence, risk taking, and late adolescence, 18 to 19 plus, transition into adulthood, higher independence, and more complex decision making. So do you feel like a 17-year-old?
What?
Do you feel like you think like a 17-year-old?
Not really.
How old do you feel?
Probably like 13 or 14.
Really? I would have said, can I give you my opinion?
Yeah?
I think of you as older. Like to me, you kind of have a 19-year-old vibe.
Okay.
Because you've grown up a lot in the past year and some change that we've been working together.
Okay, but like I still kind of feel like for example, I have a baby face, and even though I'm like 6'2", I still don't feel that tall.
Yes. Wait, what? You don't feel tall?
I mean, I'm 6'2", and sometimes I don't believe my height, because
yeah, I understand that.
Because I've seen people who are like 5'3" girls who look taller than me.
How is that possible? Yash?
They use I think it's because they're using the camera angle. They're shooting it down and their face is up, which can make them look taller.
Right, but they're not taller.
Yeah.
Right. But your dad is still a lot taller than you.
Yes.
So you may not feel tall until you're his height, but trust me, you're very, very tall. You're
Yes.
taller than the average man.
Yes, I'm definitely taller.
Yes. And so you say you have a baby face, and you do.
Yes.
But you're also getting facial hair.
Yeah, I'm also getting facial hair.
That makes a big difference. So you don't look as young. You look 17 to 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, but you feel younger.
Because I actually went to a summer camp during summer 2 years ago, and there was a 17-year-old, and he literally still looked like a kid to me. He looked like he was 11 or 12.
Right. Well, I think you're really mature. One, you're very smart, and you're able to see and read people really well. So I'm looking at you, and you look very mature because I work with kids. They're not as mature as you. The ones that I work in public school. You go to public school, right?
Yes, I go to public school.
Yeah. I think maybe it's your area. Because I'm working in Linden. Maybe the kids in Linden look a little younger.
Yes.
I don't know. What's your favorite age so far?
Favorite age? I don't have one. But maybe 18, I guess, in the future.
Okay. So you're looking forward to 18.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans that you want to do? Anything fun? Exciting?
I don't know. Or maybe anything from childhood, I guess.
You could go bungee jumping at 18. You can't do that until you're 18.
Okay, but anyways, yeah. Thanks for talking about the podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.